Setne, good morning. Good morning. Well, almost this afternoon. Good afternoon, almost. But we'll still be here on Good day. How are you? We give everybody a little time so we can gather. Reverend Tamu, how are you? Setne. My title has not changed here. How come? Why is that? Come on, bracket. Catch up, catch up. Haven't seen you in a while. How have you been? Reverend Tamu. And I'm going to get my friend Michael. Let me get the link and send it over to him. Let me see. Let me do that. And look at that. It hasn't. My title has not changed down here. Why? Everyone can see me, right? There we go. Now we're send Joker. Doing well, Reverend Tamu. Good. Daphne Floyd, welcome. Okay. And let's see. Let me figure out how to send this to Michael so we can see it on the iPhone. Oh, I know it's this. And then I'll do our official start. Maria, how are you? So good to see you. Maria. Listen, people are saying, I'm getting messages from people saying, Maria. When did that start? No, no, no. It's like, the first A is like a diphthong. Yeah. Okay. It's like, yeah. It's supposed to be like, actually, aya. Okay. But it's Maria. It's a long A sound. I don't know where that started. Fix it. Maria. Maria. Okay. Some new trend. Get it right. Maria. Okay, let me send this to Michael. How's everybody been? Listen, I was this I've been going through some stuff again. All right, I'm going through this whole healing process, and my leg is still fractured. It's better than it was, but you have to get up extra early in order to set up. And I've had my notes since last week. I intended to come on last week. Last week was kind of tough because the topic is it's not near and dear at all. It's very sensitive to me. You'll find out why when we get into it. And so it was very emotionally troubling to me to do it. And then I said, okay, I'll do it on Sunday. And I still just could not get myself to do it. But I will do it today. And so today I was up and at 'em, but still just dragging my leg around. We deal with a fractured leg. It's kind of tough. And then also I went to the dentist yesterday and had to have a root canal on my front tooth. And so I've got this temporary crown on my front tooth. It was really funny. She finishes and then she says, now this is a temporary crown. Don't eat. Don't eat with your front tooth. My front tooth. Okay. So I had to go to the market and load up on applesauce and yogurt. Okay, so 3 weeks from now, I am going to be super slender queen mother. That's fine. All right. Okay, yeah, sending this to Michael. Michael Ortiz Hill, my water brother, who initiated me into the Bantu water tradition. Give thanks and praise. I'm so very grateful. Okay, so let's see. We can do the YouTube link or we can do Facebook. Let's do Facebook. Facebook is easier. Oh, wow. Oh, shoot. See, that's another thing. My cousin passed away. I was trying to get to see this cousin too. Something just put it on my heart. You got to go and see Skip. And I was trying and trying. I called another cousin and I said, I need Skip's number because I hadn't talked to him in a while. And so we kept missing each other. And then she called me and she said, Skip went to be with the Lord this morning. I was devastated. It was the morning of the storm. You know, we've had tornadoes here in New Jersey, and this is ancestor season, and that's usually the time when we have a lot of transitions with loved ones, family, and when you get the notion to reach out to someone that you haven't spoken to in a long time, follow through, because usually that means that the person's getting ready to transition. And because we are a water temple, it's important for you to really understand that love is truly the strongest force there is. All this nonsense that people give into about backbiting and having petty arguments and disagreements over silliness has got to stop. All this hatred that we have toward one another and people creating beef against one another over jealousies, over fears, over ridiculousness has got to stop. We have another wave of COVID that is upon us. And look at all the people who are not here now, who we've lost because of COVID. And how many people do you wish you could have said something to, something kind? Just another. This has to stop. This is like when we went through the AIDS crisis. I have so many friends who are not here now. And there were people who were extremely cruel to them simply because they had AIDS, or because they were gay or bi, because of ignorance. And we have another example of ignorance that's happening again. You would think that time had just stood still or gone backwards. We need to get beyond all of this. We truly do. And so my crazy cousin Skip. For all those who transitioned during this this tornado, we got the remnants of Ida, the hurricane, and my basement flooded. You know, got through the storm. I got through the nights, and in the early morning, I connected with my cousin. I have to say, I've been blessed to connect with a whole lot of family members that I've been out of touch with. And so we connected in the early morning hours at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, you okay? Your house okay? Because her house in Jersey was right near the tornado area. Her house was okay. She said, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah." All the trees in my yard, they're okay. No branches down, no sign of flooding. And then I said, "Wait a minute," because I'm up on a hill, and my house sits up on a little promontory. I suddenly said, "Wait a minute. Let me check my basement." And I took my crutch because I'm still on crutches. I'm better than I was. But I took my crutch and hobbled down the steps, and I turned the flashlight on my phone, and I said, "Oh my Lord, my basement's flooded." Been here since 2017, all kinds of storms, never had any flooding. The water came up to the first level of the steps. And I looked in the basement and stuff is floating. I said, "Oh my Lord." But mercifully, everything that I had in tubs, the things that were precious to me, they were spared and nothing was floating with them. There were some things that were loose that did get wet. I have to say, all the things I've been concerned about that were like my children's mementos and awards and things of the family, um, keepsakes of mine. Like I had a bunch of dolls, that were keepsake dolls, collectible dolls. They were all in these big tubs that I put in plastic. Um, they were safe. But I have to tell you, there were some things that were left behind by a certain somebody that I didn't realize were there. They were gone. They were in cardboard containers, cardboard boxes. They were gone. And there were some. Now here's what's interesting, because listen, our reading for the year is send this. Sticky, how are you? Arisa Otito, welcome. I have to say, there was a box that had old notebooks of mine with all of these notes, and I told you that the reading for the year is Hakmehit, and also Hekatit with the box. And the Hekek box, Hemen box. The Chappers are here. How are you, Kenya? And I told y'all about the last time I had a bunch of my teaching materials that had been like moved away, inaccessible to me, that were in my mother's garage. All of a sudden, they're inaccessible to me, and it ended up becoming the best teaching year of my career, because I was no longer able to rely upon my notes and all of my teaching tools. So now these notes are gone with the flood. And I realized it was okay, because all of my current notebooks were up here, and all of those notes are in here. And I've been relying on what I have learned and what I have processed from those old notebooks for years now. So it was okay. And everything that I've needed to know, I've been working from up here and are going into my new book. So it's fine. And also, the stuff that I have needed from the basement, about a month ago, I had a friend come over. And I said, "Listen, I have a hunch. I need to get X, Y, and Z that's in the basement brought upstairs. Can you please bring them up for me?" So I had all of my yoga mats that had been in my old yoga temple studio brought upstairs. They're all up here. And I had some furniture, like this chair, this turtle chair. I asked them to bring it upstairs over a month ago, And there were some other things that brought upstairs. I said, I feel like I need to have him up here. And there you go. So things have been more on point, Let me send Michael this link. Let me send him this link. I think I'm gonna send him on YouTube. That's what I'll do. So yeah. Um, so I give thanks and praise for the fact that my intuition has become a lot sharper. Grateful, 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 grateful. Yes. Oh, y'all gonna send me some organic shea butter and moringa. You can send me moringa. Give thanks. Love the shack. Love the shackers. Okay. Thank you. I will send you my address. Inbox me and I will send it to you. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Let me see where the link is so I can send it to Nicole. And then we will officially get started. The water spirits have been speaking. Y'all know this is generally hurricane season anyway, and that's when the water spirits truly, 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 truly are doing their thing. Lushundia, how are you? Attack, how are you? How are you? How are you? Arena Fair. Where is okay? Let me see the link for this because I have never like sent this. Trying to get my code. Please forgive me. Trying to include Michael in this. Um, 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 oh, here, I'll do it like this. Oh gosh. Oh, here we go. Share. Boom. There we go. Yeah, I'm not coming across as a tech head right now. I generally am. I'm just a little distracted for the moment. Let's see. Not the version. Because I'm really doing my best to try to keep up with everybody, you know. That's truly the best thing I can do because I'm telling you, because um, we're all getting older and we're all getting older. We're all getting older. And whether you're getting older or not, and then you say no more to us. We have to look out for each other. Basically, we really do. Just one moment. I know there's always a phone call, right? Now I'm going to officially start. Michael, answer your phone. Okay, so now I'm going to send this to you. Listen, just one more moment, just bear with me, okay? So the storm. It was scary. And oh, wait, one more thing. Let me just make this announcement too. If you have studied with me, I'm doing a promo, okay? Because I'm doing a special project. Listen, I have been teaching since I was 14 years old, since I was a Sunday school teacher. And I'm doing this huge project. And it's a huge, I'm so excited about this. I've been trying to pull this off since 20 years ago, really. And this is a huge uh, um, in- intergenerational music and art project. And I said, give thanks for the Bluetooth ministry, right? I'm so glad you're able to tune in while running errands. um, we're just stopping in quick. Gotta get ready for this and finish up a class. Nice to see your face. Who is that? Who is that with all the beautiful hearts? Blessed up. Who is that? I was just saying, if you have been taught by me, then please send me a 15 second video clip saying in what capacity you were taught by me, and give me an endorsement, give me a shout out, okay? And because I'm putting together like a compilation, you know, I'm so and so, Queen Mother Imakhu, or if you knew me as Sister Yele, or if you knew me as Missy Lane, okay? I'm getting a roundup of everybody who taught me everybody who was taught by me throughout my entire career. Um, whether I taught you in tap dancing, whether I taught you in Sunday school, whether I taught you in theater, whether I taught you in whatever, give me that shout out. Whether you were my drumming student, whether I taught you in yoga, no matter what capacity I taught you in, please send me a video clip and give me a shout out so I can give a full spectrum of all the teaching that I have done. And so I can create a video. And I'm going to put some of my music behind it, and it'll be a fun kaleidoscope. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, Kilia, how you doing, Kilia? Good to see you. Okay, all right. So, I have all my notes from last week. New Saturday format. New NEW. Trying to enunciate. I realize sometimes it sounds like I'm saying it like nude. New NEW. Y'all like this backdrop? I feel very inspired by this backdrop. Continue doing more work on the new book. I have to say, very excited about it. And I have to also say, Lashunda, you love it? Yeah, it gives me a lot of good feelings. I'm gonna have to go to the eye doctor and also back to the neurologist because since I fell, I'm having trouble with my vision. Okay, so yeah, I've got this whole other vision thing going on. I thought it was because I'm back on medication, but it's not. So I'm bouncing back and forth between the up close and the glasses that I got for driving, which now I'm gonna have to wait a little while for since I had that doggone seizure. Thank you, Diathena. I was praying for your safety during the news. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. I had a lot of people who were praying, and I appreciate that. You know, Michael called me yesterday. I was coming out of the supermarket, and he said, you know, are you safe? I was praying for you because of the storm. I'm very, very grateful for all your prayers. Truly. I kept getting all these alerts on my phone, you know, about tornado watch, and I was just like, what the hey? That's when I realized, oh, this is serious. Yeah, I got up and did some prayers real quick to listen. In tornadoes, you pray to Satesh and Pakit. Yeah, yeah. Please, please protect the property. Listen, here's why I made a mistake. I forgot to ask. I didn't think about the possibility of the basement flooding. I just asked, please protect the boundaries of the house. Please protect the house. Please don't let anything come inside. You know, I forgot about. I didn't think about the basement flooding. I didn't know. But the house is safe. The street is safe. No trees fell. I'm safe. So, yeah, that's the main thing. And the stuff I lost, I don't need it. I was gonna clear that stuff out of the basement anyway. Okay. And I wrote down everything for the ending, everything there. So I'm good today. Because I realized, yeah, I think I got a little shook up with that fall. Yes, Sticky. Yeah. Got the confidence that the natural will protect you from harm. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I went to sleep with no fear. I did. I remember because I remember the last time when there was a serious tornado watch, and that was during Hurricane Sandy. Yeah, that was pretty bad. There was another hurricane before that was really bad. With thanks and praise. Never get cocky during storms. You always, always, always work with and give honor to nature. Never get cocky with nature, ever, ever, ever. All right, let's ground and protect ourselves. Encircle yourselves in a case of light. And the other thing is the basement does smell kind of bad, so it took me a little while to kind of adjust today because it's coming up through the floorboards. Grateful I can breathe. Sadek. Mifa. Sadek. Mifa. Sadek. Mifa. Relax your breathing. These are opening for our meditation. Nukku, nukku, amiku, kiman kitabu nichura. Nukku em in nukku, amiku. Buddha, Nukulebu peremu. Mutipi. Ready. Thanks. Ujani. Hiu. Check me. Guide me. Pede me. Speak to me. Amigo Stajamani. I am listening. Wow. Many things. Just take a moment and listen. During this time of gratitude and purification, we say thanks to the divine. Thanks for waking us up this morning. Thanks for love. As we breathe in love and exhale gratitude. Select. Nifal. Select. Nifal. Select. Nifal. Relax your breathing. Now let's take our glass of water and speak loving, loving, loving words into the water. Mer, love. Merea, much love. Nefer, goodness, beauty, success. Merea, Neferea, great beauty, great love, great success. Again, strength. Direct, protection. Tech, guidance. Second affair, good guidance. Successful guidance. General, great guidance. Blessing. At this time, we'll now do our Saturday prayer. Saturday prayer includes our opening of the way. Slide your left foot forward. Left palm forward. Right palm toward the chest. In. 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 Yun kharachanu tepi yawi yaku. Wau em erit nebetuna. Setne netuna. Semni. Yun watni. Tayere set share bach sekauches. Anuk tepi yawi yaku inu. Imem yaku shespetni. I eshem ni em yama. Yun kherech seshat. Yama de sherank. Yani yadechpet. Yun kherek akero. Yumi besu emta. Yun kherech beset. Yun besuech bekat. Yun kherek besu. Bakni besu em besue bekat. Yun kherek unut. Uni watuech. Unut emta. Yun kherek epwat. Wepwadu. Yun kherek enku. Hekni em watu. Hekhi heket eni. Uhek hatni. Anuk uhem ank. Anuk wajet. Eni wajet wajnefer. Yun kherek jehuti. Ekni rekek em hetek. Nedni shesmi her. Shedini. Yun shetaut em yu. Anetni nechemetawit. Nechemni. Nechem. Anetni nechemetawit. Nechemni. Wuchem. Anetni nechemetawit. Nechemni. Wuchem. Nettitni. Nechemitni nefret. Net reni. Wuchem. Anetni. Anettitni. Nechemitni nefret. Net reni. Wuchem. Nettitni. Nechemitni nefret. Net reni. Wuchem. Nettitni. Nechemitni nefret. Net reni. Wuserit. Herit en chemut hejanu. Sejem nechemitni. Shedani shed em shebeshniak. Shedi ben em merkabudetek. Burekni shedu mut nefret hatmeit. Merit en mesu nebu. Eldani menet mehit. Deni ech ibi. Anuk mek em ech. Meni nechat. Meni hatni netchem. Nefret meni nefret. Keni. Meruin. Abdu I entu hu inwech. Shespi. Laneb anjeti pe zayuni. Anuk nedinen sep. Jebek bani. Yakuni em hekek. I nekekek. Hekni em maet zayuni. Yei wasir ertep isetek yamet. Semi beni unefer uja urak I nechat. Sema katni semau. Katni sema. Anuk we and we. Anuk neches. Yei iset tep iset yamet. Webi iset em limet ech. Yeri anech hatni. Yeri enech hauni. Semni nebet het eri maet. Dini shaisha em neb nebet. Dini shaisha em katni ibni ibani. Keni yehuches. Sima katni zimanen. Sima katni semau. Katni sema. Setakani satesh e sedak luyak. Dini ek esha. Sema katni semanen. Sema katni semau. Katni sema. Semai nuherek. Hepi. Inu tep uhem en semai tawi I sema. Shemesh ni kairek. Anukuhem ank em merwek. Eni ikani em merwek. Web anket merwech. Yun yarwech em yu. Sema katni sema u. Katni sema. Anuk ek. Yai aku. Anuk we enechano. Anuk tepi yawi yaku enano. Her Yahweh in iyun wehini. Eldani kanum dudu kapesh. Satni satit. Dudni em zunech. Bebani nit em eheb desherech. Eldani zamait zep. Seserni sebek idudu. Vrekni taort. Yatni her ipet. Tefeni tefnut em tefetch. Tefeni etch. Eri mechort. Anki imech. Erdani nulhu. Keper naunet. Anki em tepi nefer. Nepi nunech. Ishet em ni. Erdani heteru merkai em herwech. Merniches. Saknu sarki sakwech. Imakhu wet Quebec. Shaesha chess. Eldani kibut Quebec. Segenen shespetni. Anuk ker. Wuchem. Eldani kibut Quebec. Segenen shespetni. Anuk geru. Wuchem. Eldani kibut Quebec. Segenen shespetni. Anuk geru. Wuchem. Eldani kebut segenen. Eldani kebut Quebec. Segenen shespetni. Anuk geru. Pekarni pekit. Anuk pek. Uhem. Pekarni pekit. Anuk pek. Uhem. Pekarni pekit. Anuk pek. Tuau nechult. Necher. Necher. Nechherni. Nechur nechri. Yet you nebu. Nebu kai. Necher hek. Ank heru nebu. Yatni. Anuk tepi yawi. Yaku enanu. Erdani embukai. Erdanu embukai. Ujani hauni. Nutni tajanu. Ujanu hauni. Nutnu tajanu. Duau necheru. Duau nebechu. Thank you so much, Divine Limitless Creator, Divine Infinite Source. We thank you so much for another day. Thank you for bringing us through the storms. Thank you for bringing us through the storms of life. Thank you for bringing us through the good times, the challenging times. Thank you for the lessons and the blessings. Thank you for the loved ones that have been in our lives. Thank you for those who have transitioned. Thank you for the protection that comes through divine ancestors. Thank you for those who have crossed over into the ancestral realms, who are preparing to become ancestors. Thank you for all that you have done for us and that you are going to do. Thank you for the lessons of love. Thank you for the lessons of life. Thank you for the openness that comes through your divine grace. And thank you for all that you do that brings us to the higher place, the higher places. Thank you for the lessons of the soul, for the protection of the soul that comes through Beset, through Besu, through Bastet, through Bait, and through all that you have done through Kait, through Hekait. And we ask also that you would add a blessing to your word today as the message comes to us. Bring clarity, bring strength, bring openness, and also bring us humbleness as I yield to you as your humble spirit, as your humble servant, and continue to build Shenu, continue to open our gifts to us, continue to open our communities to us. Continue to bring the abundant blessings to us. Continue to bring our, our light to us. Continue to cleanse us. Bring cleansing to our communities. Bring us the proper people who will help us to expand in knowledge, in strength and wisdom, in camaraderie, the right ones who will help us in the work that we must do, in the fun that we engage in, help us to be able to rest and to restore in the best possible way. Help to remove our enemies. Please remove all who bring us harm. Protect us even as we move forward. Remove all who have ill intention and protect us from all who hold us back. Elevate us so that we must do what we are called to do in this life. Bring us discernment so we can see those before they come. Continue to open our eyes and bring us the just rewards that we are due for all of the just actions that we have done. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We ask all of these blessings in your divine names. Amen. Amen. Cannabis Maximus, welcome. Okay. Our into, oh, well, our into today is part of our message for today, which is about the soul. Okay. And let us do our ancestor prayer. Yes, a new format for our Saturday service. Okay. Much tighter, much brighter. Yes, indeed. Let's take a sip of water. How is everyone? get ready to post your ancestors' names as we are. Wa do you share to our libation prayer for high ancestors of light, our ancestral teachers. Imshertu, there is no dua'u to the ancient ancestors. We follow your footsteps. Many thanks to you. Erchenuku ernuku. You give us light, we give you light. Sechnu kebu, we pour libation. Ishkanu, we remember you. Keru renuechenu, we speak your names. Simmons, Blackman, Smith, Pigeon. Exum, Whitley, Artist, Ortiz, Aldrich, Anderson, Brown, Hooker, Lloyd, Yates, McLaughlin, Myers, Murray, Stuckey, Yates, McLaughlin, Mosley, Mosley. Oh, this every day. Mosley. Yeah, that's it. I got some new ones I'm trying to throw them into. Um, Liburn, Mayfield. Oh, and adding to that, of course, Master Pam and Donald Payne Jr. and Wanda Payne, whose funeral I attended this week. Was our district leader, sister to Donald Payne Jr. She joined the realm of the ancestors. Thanks and praise. For the Jackers, Barry Harris, Williams, Bear, Abron, Booth, Dewberry, we speak your names. The Candace Maximus, Sharperson, Drayton, Evans, Moore, Mims, Rumpf, we speak your names. For the Shindia Wells, Wells, Hayton, Nunnery, Fairman, Thompson, Hill, we speak your names. For attack, Alderman, Anderson, Dixon, Johnson, we speak your names. Menanu Hetepu, Menu Shalaim, we wish you peace and blessings. We wish you peace and freedom. Ernu Meria, we give you much love. Duao, many thanks. Yunharek Yaku Ishapsu, show yourselves, ancestors of light. Duao, many thanks to you. Eldanu Rek Hek Hekau, Mernefrek Hetepu, Worek Sekemet Anu, bring us wisdom, guidance, words of power, love, goodness, beauty, success, peace, and blessings. Whatever second arms, protection, strength, income, and gifts. Anukut and Japsunebu. I'm a light to all of my ancestors. Sekinu, Sekinu, Sekinu. We are all ascending. Do our many thanks. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 42 principles of my age and the 10 virtues of my age. You know that's my age. Show yourself my age. Wow. better than my eight, catch me with pen. Show us my eight. Bring us my eight, your guidance on this day. I will not do wrong. I will not steal. I will not immerse myself in depression. I will not violate another being, physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. I will not hoard, disrespect, abuse, or misuse the land, nor deprive my loved ones and community of a rightful inheritance. I will not waste precious food. I will not waste precious water. I will not jealously desire to obtain that which is not mine. I will not eavesdrop or pry into matters outside of the dictate of nature. I will not defile or debase my purity. I will not abuse my sexuality. I will not engage in infidelity with another man or woman's mate. I will not engage in sexual fantasies or sexual acts with a child. I will not cause needless terror. I will not be arrogant or egoistic. I will not act with selfish, destructive aggression. I will not cultivate a quarrelsome nature. I will not take a life outside of my age, nor disrespect the life force. I will not cause the shedding of tears. I will not sow the seeds of regret. I will not mistreat children and will give proper guidance and protection. I will not mistreat animals and will give proper respect. I will not be vengeful and angry except for a just cause within my age. I will not be easily incited or to contention, to action or contention. I will not uphold an untruth on or against someone else's behalf. I will not lie. I will not raise my voice unnecessarily. I will not speak maliciously against another being. I will not exaggerate. I will not talk too much. I will not act with sneaky manipulation. I will not be impatient or judge in haste. I will not entertain impure thoughts. I will not wish evil upon another being. I will not perform negative energy. I will not wish evil upon another being, but will not stand in the way of karma, of karmic law, and will not, oh, and will invoke, um, trying to read my writing. I will invoke my aunt, my eight. Oh, my eight. Yes, will invoke my eight. Sorry. I will not perform negative energy work, but will rightfully protect and defend myself in my eight. Yes. I will not turn my ears away from words of truth. I will not desecrate holy places. I will not desecrate holy traditions. I will not steal from or neglect giving to the temple offerings. I will not rob from the deceased. I will not betray my venerated ancestors. I will not blaspheme the Most High and the I have the 10 virtues of my eight. I have control of thoughts. I have control of actions. I have devotion of purpose. I have faith in the ability of my teacher to teach me the truth. I have faith in myself to assimilate the truth. I have faith in myself to wield the truth. I am free from resentment under the experience of persecution. I am free from resentment under the experience of wrong. I cultivate the ability to distinguish between right and wrong. I cultivate the ability to distinguish between the real and the unreal. Drama 8 in Medulla Nefertiti. Medulla Nefertiti. Okay. Okay. So there's no community reports today. Setne Sarah has taken a second job, and she's doing the best that she can. And I told her, listen, whenever you're able to get one to it, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, certainly understand. Do what you got to do. You know, grateful for whenever she's able to share one with us, and also know if there's anybody out there in your part of the world that wants to be able to share a community report, you're more than welcome to. Certainly help um, Sarah out. It was so gracious of her to be able to take on that responsibility a year ago, and we're certainly so grateful. So, listen, you're more than welcome to be able to share community reports from wherever you are in the world and be able to make this a very full, well-rounded experience so that, because we have a global community. And so let's share the wealth, shall we? Okay, I left the book in the other room, didn't I? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Enjoy the music I huddle in to go get the book. Hold on. Where'd the overlay go? I knew there was something missing. Overlay. There it is. What do you want this one? Be right back. Okay. So we are resuming our studies regarding Setne, who is a piece of work. You know, these stories regarding greed, wanting too much, are so apropos regarding our reading for the year. Because so often we think we want something and then we get it, and what's the cost? You know, whenever you get a reading, um, a consultation, an oral consultation dealing with Sekhmet, dealing with Hekatit, then immediately the first concern is what's going to be taken from me. Because both deal with cleansing. And with Sekhmet, she takes things from you that stand in the way of your righteousness and will mess up your spiritual path. Basically, that you just really don't need. Um, With Hecate, she takes things away from you that you think you need and that you don't need and that will help you to grow. She also takes things from you that you think you treasure. And then later, without them, you find out that um, you end up gaining things later that you truly treasure. What is originally a coffin for the skull becomes your treasure chest because the things that are near, you have other things that become endearing to you. And you even get the things back that you lost. And then you get to decide whether you really need them or not because your value system has changed. Or even you even realize that when you get them back, just how little you respected them. You know, that you should have given more respect to it when you get it back. Oh. That's so funny. Okay. Okay, sorry, excuse me. Excuse me. All right. So, all right, let's and this is interesting. This is going to be a refresher on the story that I talked about last week, but a different take. Why? Because this is a more succinct, precise version of the story. As a storyteller, you get different variations of stories because that's how it is. That's just how it is. With storytelling, you often find that there are variants because you can go from place to place. You can go from house to house and hear the same story. You can be in a household and hear different versions of the same story because that's how it is with people. People put their different spins on the same story. You know, just like with the telephone game, where you can have children line up or even adults line up, and you will have one person start, and then you go down the line with people whispering their versions of, say, one sentence. And by the time it gets to the end of the line, the sentence will have changed because people have their different spins on the story. So that's just how it goes. And you can go outside. Right, exactly, Beathene. It's already mixed up by the third person. All right, so you can go outside and witness a storm. Every person can go out onto their porches, and witness the exact same storm. And you can have a reporter walk to every household, and everyone will have their variation based on what they believe that they saw. And now, mind you, everybody's got a different view. Just like, you know, I've been gathering stories from the people who lived in the neighborhood that I grew up in Kenilworth, New Jersey, just within the past several days, because we found out that somebody in our town passed away, in our neighborhood, in our little Black neighborhood. Now, I've always told you, Kenilworth It's 2 square miles by 2 square miles. Little teeny town, and the black neighborhood literally lived on the other side of the track, over here. In this little area over here, okay? And so I was sharing with my cousin how I remember seeing over here in the water tower, which was not the black area. The black area was over here, okay? But the water tower was over here in the white area. Now, my mother's bedroom in the little bar and restaurant that my grandparents had, and we grew up in the apartments above. There were 2 apartments, and so naturally, the perspective that we had, as opposed to my cousins and my aunt and uncle, it was different because of the fact that my mother's bedroom faced the water tower. All right. And our living room also faced the water tower, as opposed to their being over here and they're being able to see like the church and facing the neighborhood and so forth. But so at night, my mother was working downstairs in the family business, and I would be awake and I could see the cross burnings. My cousin didn't know that. She was so shocked. We talked about the fact that there were the cross burnings because now way down the other end of the street, in the little wooded area at the very edge of the black neighborhood and right next to Monsanto over here, the Klan had the cross burnings over here. Now my other cousin who lived over here said she never saw the cross burnings because it happened over here, the interior part of the little part of the black neighborhood. Okay, but for me, I grew up seeing the cross burnings. My other cousin who lived over here in the apartment, she was like, wow, you saw the cross burns? I never thought about the fact that she would know, because their apartment didn't face the water tower up on the little hill where the same area where Blackbrook Park was and where the little baseball field was and where the little playground was. But I grew up seeing the cross burnings. Perspective, okay? See, there were other things that other people in town experienced and all this other stuff based on their proximity to the white neighborhood and all this other stuff. Everybody had their own little piece of the story based on where they lived, you see. It's all a matter of what you see, what you experience, and so forth. Like, I know that there are certain things where I live that certain neighbors are able to see simply because they're a little closer to the little intersection of the street over here. There are certain things that I see because of where I live. People who live up the street over that way, here in Newark, I'm saying, they're able to see based on the fact that they're closer to that end of the street. It's all a matter of what you're able to see based on your perspective, you see? So it's like that with storytelling in general. So, this story about Setne, okay? I've read a number of different versions of this story over the years because there were a number of different people who wrote down different versions over the years. And I've read a number of versions of them online. And I've been trying to find this other version I swore up and down that I read in what's his name? Budge. I could have sworn, like this morning, I spent a good amount of time trying to find that other doggone Budge version. I recently, though, poured over the Miriam Lichting version. All right. I really greatly immersed myself in the Miriam Lichting version. And I said to myself, well, I'll be doggone. I did the storyteller thing and like flipped around some stuff or added some stuff or misinterpreted some stuff. Because see, a good storyteller is going to tell it his or her own way. That's like the storyteller code. If you hear a story from someone else, this tried and true, okay? Because I'm a professional storyteller. We know that if you're going to, if you hear a storyteller tell a version, their version of a story, you are not going to get up on stage and tell it the exact same way as another storyteller, because that's like a major no-no. That's like polygamy. No, I'm sorry, that's not the word that I. That is not the word. That is when you steal from somebody else. Good Lord. Thank you. Brandon, how are you? I just did a major Archie Bunker malaprop here. That is plagiarism. Plagiarism. That is akin to plagiarism, okay? That is akin to plagiarism, yeah. Believe me. Um, yeah. Yeah, it's good to see you too, Brandon. But yes, in the professional storyteller world, it's akin to plagiarism, okay? And you just don't do that. Now, what you do is you ask the storyteller. You say, "I love your version of that story. Do I?" Yeah, I got the P right. Atep. Yeah. You out of professional courtesy, this is what we do in professional storytelling circles. You ask the person, and you say, "I love your version of that story. Do I have your permission to tell it your way and give credit before I tell it?" If the person says yes, then that's what you do. Here, I'm about to tell this story, and this is so and so's version of it. This is how they tell it, because you develop your own way of telling it. You put your thing on it. Like my version of Water Woman, that is my version. I have developed it. I have this, that is known as my version. Okay. You work hard to develop your repertoire and how you tell your story. Okay. So that's giving respect to the storyteller and their own version of the story. So, but, but, um, so it's the same thing. Like when you all hear me repeating these stories here, I'm doing my version, my mishmash on the spot version of the retelling of the story. Okay. Um. So so I realized as I was rereading it, I said, "Wow, is it that I was like that much into the retelling of it that I really like misinterpreted some things or just kind of forgot some stuff? Or is it that there were that many versions of it that I had, that I just kind of like did the story, the blend thing, in the retelling and the entertainment aspect of it, So let me share this, okay? Because there are a number of different versions out here, but it's important for me to be able to get the details. And I know I read in a Budge version other details regarding this, but I want to get to that. But I'm gonna get to the meat and all of it about the whole thing about the point of the story, because it's still a really jacked up story in general. the point of what Setne does. Okay, where Setne. And I just wanted to cop to that. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we're clear on that. You know, if I messed up, I wanted to just be clear on it because I was reading, and I was just like, hold up, wow. And as a storyteller, I'm just going to tell you, I am completely in love with the ancient Kemetic stories. I truly am, because storytelling tells you so much about a culture, and especially with the different variants of them from age to age, the same stories. Because the purpose of stories are to tell the morals of a people, to tell a to give you the idea of how people lived, um, to let you know the spirituality of it. Sometimes um, stories were used for political purposes to kind of keep people in their places, you know, uh, but also mainly to drive the moralistic points home. You know, in African culture, the griot, as the term came to later be known, but in Kemetic culture, there are several names for the storyteller, including Wuhemu. Wuhemu was meant to retell, okay, or Wuhem. Wuhem means to repeat, okay. Like when I pray and I say Wuhem, repeat, okay. So the Wuhemu is the storyteller, or I believe Sachem. Uh, and so these were moralistic tales. All right. So I love them. I'm fascinated by them, especially the magical tales. They're so vital and insightful. Come on, I had it marked. Come on. Please forgive me. Something when you all is working, you have things pre-marked, and then all of a sudden it's like, where is it? Here. Right here. One book. And it's interesting saying polygamy because Setne wanted to cheat on his wife, you know? Hmm. Okay, here we are. Now, so now remind me, how much did I get into this last time about the? Because I know I talked about it. I was not very specific. I just kind of gave a sort of a synopsis, right? I just gave a synopsis last time. Am I right? All right. Did I read this? Hello? Somebody? Somebody? Okay. I'm going to start reading. So this is from volume 3. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Be Athena and Sticky. Thank you. All right. Yeah, I just gave the synopsis because this is more specific and I want to clarify a few points. because it ended with Setne taking the book. All right, he played a few rounds of drafts with Nanefer Kapata after he got his father's magic books, and he ended up winning. And Nanefer Kapata said, "You'll be back." All right. So now, Setne and Tabu. So after this, it happened one day that Setne was strolling in the forecourts of the temple of Ptah. He saw a woman who was very beautiful, there being no other woman like her in appearance. She was beautiful and wore many golden jewels, and maid servants walked behind her, as well as two men servants belonging to the household. The moment Setne saw her, he did not know where on earth he was. He called his manservant, saying, "Hasten to the place where this woman is and find out what her position is." The manservant hastened to the place where the woman was. He called to the maidservant who was following her and asked her, saying, "What woman is this?" She told him, "It is Tabubu, the daughter of the prophet of Bastet, mistress of Anktawi. She has come here to worship Ptah, the great god." Now, see, here's where I was mistaken before, because I thought that she was the priestess of Bast. In some stories, she herself is Bast. In some stories, she is the priestess of Bast. It was her father in this story who is the priestess of the priest of Bast. Okay, they are there at the temple of Ptah. Okay, and on top of that, he knew she had to be somebody important. It wasn't that he thought that she was just some regular old chickie, okay? See, that's the other thing. He was insulting from the get-go because of all these people following behind her. He didn't care. He still wanted her and was coming at her as though, well, I'm still going to get her. He made a number of mistakes, okay? So in this one, first mistake. The servant returned to Setne and related to him every word he had said to him. Setne said to the servant, "Go say to the maid, it is Setne Kamwas, the son of Pharaoh Wusamare, who has sent me to say, I will give you 10 pieces of gold. Spend an hour with me. Or do you have a complaint of wrongdoing? I will have it settled for you. I will have you taken to a hidden place where no one on earth shall find you." In other words, listen, if you got a problem with that, no problem. We can do this in a secret place, okay? The servant returned to the place where Tabubu was. He called her maid and told her. She cried out as if what she said was an insult, because it was. Tabubu said to the servant, "Stop talking to this foolish maid. Come and speak with me." The servant hastened to where Tabubu was and said to her, "I will give you 10 pieces of gold. Spend an hour with Setne Kamwas, the son of Pharaoh Usamare. If you have a complaint of wrongdoing, he will have it settled for you. He will take you to a hidden place where no one on earth shall find you." Tabubu said, "Go tell Setne I am of priestly rank. I am not a low person. If you desire to do what you wish with me, you must come to person. If you desire to do what you wish with me, you must come to Bubastis, to my house. It is furnished with everything, and you shall do what you wish with me, without anyone on earth finding me, and without acting like a low woman of the street." In other words, listen, I'm willing to hit it with you, okay? But you have to come to my house and not act like I'm some common person. Okay. The servant returned to Setne and told him everything she said to him. He said, "That suits me." Everyone around Setne was indignant. Like, what the heck you say? Setne had a boat brought to him. He went on board and hastened to Bubastis. When he came to the west of the suburb, he found a very lofty house that had a wall around it, a garden on its north, and a seat at its door. Setne asked, "Whose house is this?" They told him, "It is the house of Tabubu." Setne went inside the wall. While he turned his face to the storehouse in the garden, they announced him to Tabubu. She came down, took Setne's hand, and said to him, "By the welfare of the house of the prophet of Bastet, mistress of Anktawi," you see, her father was a priest of Bastet, so therefore she benefited, okay? "Mistress of Anktawi, which you have reached, it will please me greatly if you will take the trouble to come up with me." Setne walked up the stairs of the house with Tabubu. He found the upper story of the house swept and adorned, its floor adorned with real lapis lazuli and real turquoise. Many couches were in it, spread with royal linen, and many golden cups were on the table. A golden cup was filled with wine and put into Setne's hand. She said to him, "May it please you to eat something?" He said to her, "I could not do that." Incense was put on the brazier. Ointment was brought to him of the kind provided for a pharaoh. Setne made holiday with Tabubu. In other words, they were partying, having a nice, lovely time, never having seen anyone like her. Setne said to Tabubu, "Let us accomplish what we have come here for." She said to him, "You will return to your house in which you live. I am of priestly rank. I am not a low person. If you desire to do what you wish with me, you must make for me a deed of maintenance and of compensation in money for everything, all goods belonging to you." He said to her, "Send for the school teacher." He was brought one at once. He made for her a deed of maintenance and of compensation in money for everything, all goods belonging to him. At this moment, one come to announce to Setne, "Your children are below." He said, "Let them be brought up." Tabubu rose and put on a garment of royal linen. Setne saw all her limbs through it, and his desire became even greater than it had been before. Setne said, "Tabubu, let me accomplish what I have come here for." She said to him, "You will return to your house in which you live. I am of priestly rank. I am not a low person. If you desire to do what you wish with me, you must make your children subscribe to my deed. If you leave them to contend with my children over your property." He had his children brought and made them subscribe to the deed. Setne said to Tabubu, Let me accomplish what I have come for. She said to him, You will return to your house in which you live. I am of priestly rank. I am not a low person. If you desire to do what you wish with me, you must have your children killed. You must not leave them to contend with my children over your property. Setne said, Let the abomination that came into your head be done to them. She had his children killed before him. She had them thrown down the window from the window to the dogs and cats. They ate their flesh, and he heard them as he drank with Tabubu. Setne said to Tabubu, Let us accomplish what we have come here for. All the things you have said, I have done them for you. She said to him, Come now to this storehouse. Setne went to his storehouse. He lay down on a couch of ivory and ebony, his wish about to be fulfilled. Tabubu lay down beside Setne. He stretched out his hand to touch her, and she opened her mouth wide in a loud cry. Setne awoke in a state of great heat, his phallus and it has little, it's like not a finished sentence. And suddenly, there were no clothes on him at all. At this moment, Setne saw himself. He saw a noble person born in a litter. He was outside with many men running beside him, and he had the likeness of a pharaoh. Setne said, My great lord, oh, may he have the lifetime of prey. How can I go to Memphis with no clothes on me at all? The pharaoh called to a servant who was standing by and gave clothing to Setne. And the pharaoh said, Setne, my son, go to Memphis. Your children are alive and waiting for you. When Setne came to Memphis, he embraced his children, for he found them alive. The pharaoh said to Setne, What is the state of drunkenness that you were in before? Setne related everything that had happened with Tabubu and Nanefer Kapata. The pharaoh said, Setne, I did what I could with you before, saying, They will kill you if you do not take this book back to the place you took it from. Remember the whole scenario with getting that magic book of Jehuti's. Take this book back to Nanefer Kapata with a forked stick in your hand and a lighted brazier on your head. When Setne came out from before the pharaoh with a forked stick in his hand and a lighted brazier on his head, he went down into the tomb in which Nanefer Kapata was. Akwere said to him, Setne, it is the great god Ptah who has brought you back safely. Nanefer Kapata laughed, saying, It is what I told you before. Setne greeted Nanefer Kapata, and he found one could say that Pre, or the great god, was in the whole tomb. Akwere, the wife who had died, and Nefer Kapata greeted Setne warmly because they knew he'd be back. Setne said, Nanefer Kapata, is there any matter which is shameful? Nanefer Kapata said, Setne, you know that Akwere and her son Merib are in Coptos. Here is this tomb that are through the craft of a good scribe. Let it be asked of you to undertake the task of going to Coptos, bringing it there, bringing them here. When Setne had come up from the tomb, he went before Pharaoh and related to Pharaoh everything that Nefer Kapita had said to him. Pharaoh said, Setne, go to Coptos, bring Akwere and her son Merib. He said to Pharaoh, let the ship of Pharaoh and its equipment be given to me. The ship of Pharaoh and its equipment were given to him, and he went on board. He set sail. He reached Coptos without delay. It was announced to the priests of Isis or Iset of Coptos and the chief priests of Iset. They came down to meet him. They conducted him to the shore. He went up from it, and he went to the temple of Iset of Coptos and of Herkuti. He sent for an ox, a goose, and wine, and made burnt offerings and libation before Iset of Coptos and Herkuti. He went to the desert of Coptos with the priests of Iset and the chief priest of Iset. They spent 3 days and 3 nights searching in all the tombs on the desert of Coptos, turning over the stela of the scribes of the house of life, and reading the inscriptions on them. They did not find the resting place in which Akwere and her son were. When Naner Ptah found that they were not in the resting place of Akwere and her son Merib, he rose up as an old man, a very aged priest, and came to meet Setne. When Setne saw him, he said to the old man, you have an appearance of a man of great age. Do you know the resting place in which Akwere and her son Merib are? The old man said to Setne, my great grandfather said to my grandfather, the resting place of Akwere and her son is at the south corner of the house of the chief of police. Setne said to the old man, perhaps this is some wrong that the chief of police did to you, on account of which you were trying to have his house torn down. The old man said to Setne, have a watch set over me and let the house of the chief of police be demolished. If they do not find Akwere and her son Merib under the south corner of his house, let punishment be done to me. They set a watch over the old man, and they found the resting place of Akwere and her son Merib under the south corner of the house of the chief of police. Setne said to the two noble persons, and Setne let the two noble persons enter into the Pharaoh's ship. He had the house of the chief of police built as it had been before. Naner Kapita let Setne learn the fact that it was he who had come to Coptos. Let them find the resting place in which Akwere and her son were. Setne went on board Pharaoh's ship. He went north, and without delay, he reached Memphis with all of the people who were with him. When it was announced before Pharaoh, he came down to meet the ship of Pharaoh. He let the noble persons enter into the tomb, which Naner Kapita was. He had it closed over them all together. This is the complete text, a tale of Setne Kamwas and Naner Kapita and his wife Akwere and her son Meri. It was copied by, doesn't have the name here, in the year 15, first month of winter. That was quite a tale. Tale of exploit, a tale of abuse of power, a tale of abuse of sex. What is your first impression regarding what happened with the priestess? Why do you think that the priestess allowed all of that to happen to Setne. And his ending up out in the street, all being a mirage, and he's ending up in the street naked with a box over his penis. What was the lesson? First, I'd like to share something with you. A lesson of the soul. I was about to upload an image for you of a bird called the jabiru. The jabiru bird is a very, very large flying bird. And the jabiru bird is a bird that is used as an image for the bird known as the bait. The bait bird is, or the ba is the word for the soul. The bait is a goddess that is a protector of the soul. Very large African stork. So let me download this and share this with you. I was gonna do this before, but then I said, you know what? I don't want to. Use up any more time. So let me just get on the air. And the habits of the jabiru bird, very interesting. We're also familiar with Bast in dealing with the soul, the cat, okay, the very protective cat, very sensual cat. And we already heard about Bast and the father of this priestess being a priest of Bast, and the very sumptuous palatial home that she lived in because she was the daughter of a priest of Bast. But there is another protector of the soul, and that is the jabiru bird. And the jabiru bird is one that is a very devoted bird. It's devoted to its mate. The two birds together, they build an elaborate nest for its young, and it's a wading bird. This is a wetlands bird that's found in Africa. It's found throughout the world, and it's huge. And to watch it fly, it's beautiful. I mean, if you were to open another window and to watch video of it, you would be amazed. And also, it makes this clacking sound, clack, 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 with its beak. It's a fearsome bird. Let me bring this image up. And I tell you, when you call on it for protection, oh, wow. I mean, personally, as a protector of your soul, when you call on it, it truly calls you to attention, and it calls all aspects of your soul into attention. We've talked about the splintering of the soul and how when you are in peril, a part of your soul will leave in order to protect itself. And so I have found personally, last week was, and this week has been a very traumatizing week. And so I found myself calling on it, and suddenly it just like snapped me back into attention. Listen, get together. And all these forgotten parts of myself came back to myself. Just remember who you are. You've been traumatized, and you've had someone traumatizing you, trying to tell you that your life didn't mean anything, and all the things you've done in your life didn't mean anything. And, what you did in your past was worthless. Who cares? And Bait immediately said, yes, your life matters. And even with going through all the stuff that I went through in the basement yesterday, the things that were protected, and reminding me, hey, all these things that you did in your life matter. These parts of your career and your life, yes, they do matter. And you have people who were in your life and are in your life that matter to you and that you matter to. Just like that. Boom, 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 boom. You know? Wow. Bait brings all this stuff back to your attention. Just like in this story where Kabubu, with a quickness, helped this man to remember, what are you throwing off all these different parts of your life for? You have children that you just left off to the side for what? To get a piece? You wanted to disrespect me as a priestess for what? For what? This is not even the part of the story that reminded him, you have a wife. You have a good wife. And you tossed her to the side for what? You were willing to just have her just thrown into the street for what? For an obvious sex addiction? For a piece? Have your kids thrown to the dogs for what? These things that are essential, that matter. The Bait bird. The Bait, they help each other with building the nest. There's a video that I saw where the husband went and got the stuffings and straw and everything for the nest and brought it home and handed it to the wife lovingly. And don't think you're gonna mess with the kids, because they will snap on you. These birds stand 5 feet. They're as large as me. I'm only 5'2". I'm imagining this bird standing eye to eye with me. And they have a huge wingspan. There's a video where this bird comes up on this man's deck. And this man is trying to give this bird a piece of the meat off of its grill. And this bird just comes up to it. Like, what? And this man's trying to bargain with this bird. Okay, I'll give you this, but don't. This bird's like, I'm gonna take what I want. Okay. This bird is a serious protector of the soul. Serious protector of the soul. If you feel downtrodden, if you've had someone who has just completely minimized you, made you feel small, if you feel lost, splintered, then Bait will snap you together, remind you of your worth, and will protect you against those who are trying to make you feel worthless. Now, the soul. The soul is that part of your personality. Daniel asked, how do you spell the bird's name? Let me put it down here. That's B-A-I-T. Like ba is the word for soul. Bait, B-A-I-T. Looks like bait. And also they can come in pairs, okay? Like goddesses. Kufwanu Ali Il, how are you? They can come as male and female, they can come as goddesses. The soul is that part of you, because the soul is depicted as this giant bird, this giant African bird. So it takes flight, okay? And it's the part of you that leaves the body when you transition. It takes flight, okay? But also it's that part of you that is like the free spirit, but also wants to be tempered. So that's why it's like the warrior aspect that will protect you. Don't mess with her. I got her. Don't. But also, it's like, like I said, it's that free spirit part, but then also sometimes it needs to be reeled in. Like I think because I relate a lot to birds. I love birds. Birds. I'm wearing my feather. I always love wearing feathers. It relates to my grandmother. My grandmother let me play in the rain. She understood the free spirit part of me. She was also the one that had me question about religion and churches all the time. But I always tell the story about how when I was 14, and my mother asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I said I wanted to have a hawk. I used to watch John Denver specials, and hawks would always come and land on his arm. He always had the stuff you have on, because you can't just have a hawk land on your arm because it'll rip your skin off. So you had to have the special glove and everything. So I wanted a hawk so badly. I swear I had a hawk in a former life. I remember my mother saying, okay. My mother kind of understood my free spirit too. My mother used to be a free spirit, but then the church she got involved with the church because she found out she could have power there. But then that kind of killed some of that free spirit. But I remember she had to have a talk with me, and she said, okay, so listen, you can't have a hawk because we live in an apartment. She said, maybe we get another canary. You want another canary? Canaries were so boring to me. We had a number of canaries, and all they did was eat and die. They eat, sang, and died. I don't want a canary. Well, we'll go to the pet store. Maybe you'll see something you want. Maybe you'll want another canary. So I remember being this very Wednesday Addams, broody kind of angst-filled teenager. Into the pet store, walking around. I don't care. Trying to find something interesting, and then it came to the parakeets. They seemed interesting. They were chatty and lively, And one parakeet just came to the front, and that I was interested in the parakeets. Okay, so I decided, okay, I want a parakeet because when an animal friend, because I don't like the word pet, when an animal friend wants to be with you and they come forward to you and they make themselves known, hey, you're my person, so this one came forward like, yeah, you're my person. So we bonded. And so I said, yeah, I want this parakeet, so this parakeet was cool. And so eventually it took to my finger when I got it home, and it used to open up its own cage and get out. And it would come and fly down on my shoulder. And when I was on my bed, just staring up at the ceiling, teenage angst, it would open up its cage and come and fly down on my shoulder and come and nuzzle its head on my neck. And, we were real simpatico. And I remember being in one place in the apartment. If I'd be in the living room and I would think, I wouldn't say Elton, I named him Elton. I like the name Elton, So, and I would think Elton come. And I would just put my hand up like this, put my finger out like this, and I would hear the door open and he would come and fly right directly to me, land on my finger, Sometimes he would land on my head. So we were just real cool like that. All I had to do was think and he would just come to me. So, anyway, that's the kind of relationship that I have. So birds. Birds and the soul. The idea of being able to sort of tame that part of your soul. And see, when you have a spiritual relationship with someone and you have that connection soul to soul, we've talked about this before. When you have that loving relationship and you are able to connect through love and love making, then you are able to your soul, that bird animal part of yourself, and when this happens, and when you have that lover experience, and when they've never experienced that before, and they're like, what is this? And it's beyond the body, when it's beyond the body thing, and you are spiritually in sync, and the other person has never had that before, and they're scared because it's like, what is this? Because it is a certain taming, if you will. And I don't like to use the word taming. It is a certain synchronicity that's happening of the soul, because the soul is that part of you that is just like, yeah, it is that part that is exploring and it takes flight. Well, see, the spirit is the part that is always connected to the higher self and the God self, if you will, the Nechir, Nechiru, Nebitshur, and when you're able to get your spirit, your soul self, that wants to always just be right in sync, that wants to be part of that goodness of yourself, when it starts to just not want to just be out there and just do it or whatever, and it wants to just be in righteousness and be more, again, I hate the word that you use, tame. What's another word I can use? When it wants to be in sync with the God self, in alignment, way and way, so that part is in alignment with the Ka. See, Ka here, see how this is the focused part. See, this is the focused part. This is the same as that Ka that is in meditation, because you are in sync with the higher part of yourself that is in sync with the God self. That's the part of you that just wants to be, it just wants to be good. Okay? And you're feeling good because you know that you are in righteousness. The high self. You are in the high yourself. Okay? And where you are in flowing, you're in synchronicity, just like that part of me when things were just starting to come back together, and that part of me was saying, get that stuff out of the basement. I didn't know why, but I obeyed. Get that stuff out. Get the chair out. Get the chair out of the basement. Get the yoga mats out. Looking at them now. Get them out. Get your kids' pictures out. Get the awards. Get them out. Right, leveling up. Yes. Yes, Candace Maximus. Leveling up. You're in the higher place. You're able to hear better. Yes. And with that love-making experience, is just it's a higher place when you're moving to higher ground. When after the summer of cleansing, and you are hearing better. See, the flood's coming. The flood's coming. Move your stuff. The flood's coming. Move your stuff. What happened? The flood came. The flood came. Pack up and book up. Get your stuff out of the way. Because your vibration shifted and you're able to hear better. Yeah. Yes. And you're in a more sensitive place even, and now your heart's hurting, your soul's hurting. You may have more days you just crying. I've had these days I've just been just God, yeah. Your soul hurts, you're just crying. Why did this person hurt me? Well, listen, don't worry about them. They're messed up. You just worry about healing yourself. Your intentions were right. You can't do anything about it when other people's aren't. Come on, let's get you patched up because you got work to do. You got work to do. You can't help it if you can't help it when other people are just trying to, oh man, I gotta talk to this person. I gotta talk to this person. You know in your heart they're getting ready to leave, but I gotta talk to them. I gotta talk to them. Because you have that synchronicity of the soul, right? Yes, evolve. Yes, cannabis. You're evolving. You're evolving. And maybe because you know your time clock is moving. You got stuff you gotta do before you leave here. You have a legacy you gotta leave behind. You got stuff you gotta do. And so with Tabubu, she had to remind him, you idiot, you gonna waste your time lusting after me. I got stuff I gotta do. You got stuff you gotta do. You decide you were gonna let your kids get thrown to. He went on this stupid quest to go and get the magic book of a god. Don't you know you have other things to do? How dare you? I've been re-immersing myself back into the book of a Pet. It's been delicious, delicious. And as I've been rewriting the new book, it's been delicious, delicious. And as I've been reconnected with my water brother, Michael Ortiz Hill, it's been delicious. We have work to do, y'all. We have work to do. Let me see what your comments were regarding Setne and Tabubu. Let me see. The thing says, I was called to read Psalm 37 last night, and it brought me a lot of comfort to my current situation. I feel way more confident in my path. It's just like what you're saying. I give thanks and praise. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful holy books that we have had left behind for us to receive comfort. Don't fall for self-delusion. Yes. Don't fall for self-delusion. Yes. She was the vessel by which the lesson had to be taught to Setne. Don't be controlled by selfish desires and ill intentions. Yes. Yes, Tiffany. Mm-hmm. The Jabiru bird is your favorite bird, Cuckoo? Mine now. Yes. I had. Let me tell you. I love the Jabiru bird. Yes. We thank and praise. I tell you, you watch the videos, and here's the impression that you get. The impression you get from the Jabiru bird is like, what? 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 Don't try. Don't try. And the faithfulness and devotion that the Jabiru bird has in the relationship toward one another and also in family, just truly a soul to soul connection. Truly. Biafina says the Setne story is parallel to what I see with people chasing drama or self glory instead of focusing on improving the community. Yes. Yo, you're a prince. What are you supposed to be doing? You should be setting an example. You should be focusing on your children. You know? It's a whole bunch of high drama. High drama. Yes. And so let us take that lesson with us this week into our meditation, what we should be doing and what we could be doing instead of all the selfishness and the greed. You know, I mean, the responsibility that you have toward your community and your family first, your community next, and the legacy you should be leaving behind. And the example of Bait, the soul bird, and truly the lessons of the soul. It's the high soul development. In fact, there's a term. Where did I write it down? Please tell me I wrote it in this book. I'm just a note lady. I have so many books. It's not anything. Please tell me I wrote it in this one. The goal is for higher soul development. I can wait another book. Because that's truly the goal. The goal is for higher soul development. Oh, Bayou Menku. Yes, higher soul development and soul excellence. That's the goal. That's the goal. So that we're not stuck in this sort of like an out there animalistic, do what you want to do state. We want to have higher soul development. That's the okay. Otherwise, it's like we're thinking of what it was like in the every age goes through this whole radical development of trying to reach for something else, trying to be something else, and that's a natural part of growth. You know, we have what I always call the pendulum swing. It talks about this in the 60th hexagram of the I Ching, what's called limitations, where things will go one direction and they'll go another direction, and you know it's trying where it'll be like really super conservative, then it'll be super wild, and you know it gets until it settles into the middle. It'll go from one direction to another, and so you want it to be balanced, and so you don't want things to be too radical. And the soul is trying for balance. It's trying to find its own excellence. Dude, and I think of each age, you know, coming out of like petticoats, you know, and then you go into like the roaring 20s, you know, and then you go into, you know, I mean, each age just it's like too far. It's too much, you know. You need balance. And I started out by talking about love and how We need to find a balance in love and stop being so judgmental and stop being so harsh and hateful and find a way to love one another without pointing fingers. Like people are still so hung up on the evil Egyptians and not understanding what this is. Kemetic culture originally was a water religion. It was a water spiritual system, and then we went to the radical way of being with the desert and the harshness of the heat, and because of the fact that the terrain changed, and it became this really super egocentric religion and way of being instead of being able to be reflective and loving so my thing is bringing it back to love and being able to have balance. I'm sick of people bashing on our religion. And there's a lot of hatred, people bashing on Christianity too. We need to understand one another. Okay, time for you to ask. We all do a little more historic research, then we'd find out a lot more about what we really believe. And all of us would have a different perspective. Well, a lot of us would have a different perspective. Time for Eucharist. The Sacred Supper of Eucharist, known today as Eucharist, was created in ancient Kemet. The priests and priestesses of Osset honor the resurrection of King Nasir and the resurrection of life. We all face personal levels of resurrection daily. As we learn the lessons of this life, we strive to grow, leave behind the old and unnecessary habits and behaviors, and move forward into higher consciousness. The blood that flows through our veins is of our ancestors. Huit represents the DNA, the ancestral blood that reaches back into the beginning of time. In African culture, we refer to the river of ancestors. The blood, or senef, of our ancestors flows through each of us, as our blood will flow through future generations. It is an endless stream. As we call upon the light and wisdom of our ancestors, or Iakhu, our blood becomes purified. As such, we are mindful of giving respect, Shaisha, to senef, the blood. When we become spiritually awakened, our blood takes place within the awakened body of consciousness, Christ consciousness, Kerest consciousness. Kerest means the mummified remains or body wrapped in swaddling strips. Death to the old, yet spirit lives on. It has victory over death. We, in our spiritual growth, have victory over death and in life as we put emphasis on spirit and are not stuck in matters of the flesh and mundane. The bread, te, symbolizes the body, or kerest. Hold up the bread and repeat after me. Necharu, bless this bread of life. Semek necharu, mishet ankpen. I am the bread of life. Anuk mishet ank. I am the body of awakened consciousness. Anuk kerest. My body is sacred. Katija say. My spirit is of God. Onichi, Kani Nichi. Thank you, God. Nichi. Dwanichi. Unem. Trying to be careful and not eat on the front. She told me not to use my front tooth. Dentist. until I get my permanent crown. Hold up the cup. Repeat after me. Necharu, bless this blood of life. Semek Necharu, Senef Ankhen. My blood flows from the river of ancestors. Senefi Sef Sefni Em Imakhu. Webi, purify me. Thank you, God. Wanachir. Baba. Love your cup. This cup is also you. It is a sacred chalice. You, like the cup, are a sacred vessel. Be mindful of what you fill your life with. Your cup, your life is sacred. Repeat after me. I am a sacred vessel. Anuk Imakhu. My life is sacred. Anki just said. Amen. 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 That concludes our ceremony for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And since I'm not going out now, wow, that worked out because I really wanted to stay home. Give thanks and praise. I have to call and make sure everything's okay though. Check on one another. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. My unemployment ends this week. Thank you, Mr. Governor. If you want to send any love donations, here is my PayPal. Is Chekamet at yahoo.com and Imakhu at imakhu.com. Cash App is, I think I have this memorized by now. Let's see. Cash App is, yes, okay. $, Elaine Lloyd Nazario, and my Venmo is Venmo. So that memorized too. Um, okay, it's not done yet. And I've got some special things coming up this month for Hispanic Heritage Month under my company's Greater Essex Latinx Art and Film LLC, and also Ashe Cultural Arts and Film Institute. Let me see things about that. I'm very, very happy about that. Look me up on Venmo, you'll find me. So, okay. And so, in closing, we say, Meria, which means much love. Eri, which means be at peace. Deberi, which means be merciful. Remember to be appropriately merciful to yourself. Setne, which means to be accountable, and Usari, which means to be, I just closed the book, to be empowered, the double fold energy of my eight. Have a really wonderful, wonderful week. In the same boat, Brandon? Yeah, it's gonna be one of those weeks. I don't listen, I've been trying to find a date for a while now. All I can do is hold out with faith. That's all I can do. Give thanks and praise. So I'll keep you in prayer too. Those of us who've been on unemployment, all we can do is just pray that something comes through, right? That's all we can do. Give thanks and praise. Love, love, love you all. Thank you all for being here. Be empowered.